Welcome to the Black Lion Podcast. We are your hosts, Lex and Dom. And today we have a special guest. Can you introduce yourself, please?
Yes. So my name is Claudia Nina. I am 24 years old and I have a company that I have started for 1 year now. It's called Escribo, and I'm here to tell you more about Escribo.
So what services does your business provide?
Well, the name of my business is called Escribo, and Escribo means I write down in the Latin language. And what I do is I help people bring out their story to the world. And that could be either publishing books, publishing stories on a blog, that could be writing your story for a website, or just bringing everything that you have in mind down on paper. And even though it sounds quite simple, translating what's in your head on paper, it's quite hard for a lot of people, which I understand. And that is where Scribo steps in and helps anyone who wishes to bring out their story.
Do you have employees?
No, not yet. I started, the first book I wrote was in January 2020. I wrote it with my pastor at church. And that's when I started to kind of see that, okay, I'm kind of good at this. I'm kind of good at shaping a story for people to read, people to understand. And that is where I chose to really make it a thing. Um, so for the past year, it has just been myself. But as you know, as Scribo, the company is growing, I'm definitely looking into people and expanding the company.
What did you classify your company as?
That's a very good question. The aim that I have for my company is becoming a publishing house. A publishing house. And as I said, the first book that I wrote was with my pastor, and I have written other books with other men of God. And what I believe makes a Scribo special as well is that I can help bring out anyone's story, but also that of believers, people who believe in in God, who believe in Christ Jesus. And what a lot of Christians find hard, I believe, is asking for help and someone supporting them who has the same Christian background and the same Christian mindset. And what I mean by that is that when I read your story and I read the basis of your story, which is 9 out of 10 times biblical, I can understand where you're coming from. I can understand what you're trying to implement in your story. And by doing so, I can really, I try to bring your story to a higher level, to make it clear for people reading it, and also implement a biblical stand the person is trying to put in the book.
Do your business fall under LLC?
And what do you mean by LOC?
Like, matter of fact, where are you currently at? That's a better question.
That's a good question. Yes. So I live in the Netherlands. I live in Amsterdam. So that's a whole different system than in the US.
Yeah.
Um, I think that's what you were asking with the LLC. Yes. So did you mean that was it registered at the government? Is that what you're asking me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Um, well, at the moment, not yet. And one of the reasons is because I'm still doing my master's. As I said, or maybe I haven't said, I am still a student. I'm doing my master's in dentistry, and I hope to finish my studies this year. Um, and it's a long story, but being a dentist and starting a company as well, it has a lot of legal things that need to be set up properly. So I'm just waiting for the appointed time to do that. But I'm definitely planning to make it legit, to say it like that.
Do you have a lot of family support?
I do. I do. I think my parents are my biggest supporters. I have two little sisters. They also support a lot. At the beginning, everybody was like, "Oh, she's writing books. That's fine." Um, but as I said, I am almost a dentist, and now I am a dentist who writes books. So it's quite out of the blue. It doesn't really add up. It's not that I went to school and studied a certain language or English, but I'm just a dentist who also loves to write books. So at the beginning, I believe it was quite odd for a lot of people. But when they saw how good everything went and how much people were interested and amazed, um, I think the full support came, and I believe they are my biggest fans.
Can you tell the audience about your background?
So, as I said, I live in Amsterdam. I'm 24 years old. I'm originally from Ghana, West Africa. I was born there, but I was raised most of my life here in the Netherlands. I live with my parents, as I said, my two sisters, and most of my family is still back in Ghana. And yeah,
So, when you started your business, do you have any doubts about it?
yes, yes, I did. As I said, I'm just a dentist, and all of a sudden, my pastor he asked me, can you help me bring out this book? And at first, I was like, I'm not sure. I'm a student. I know how to write. I know how to write scientific articles, um, but bringing out a whole book is a different level. And he was so confident in me, and he was like, no, no, I need you to do it. And I was like, okay, fair enough. And I made a few mistakes at first. I did it for the first time. I didn't understand everything. And I'm just so grateful that he had so much compassion and patience for me. And so that really pushed me to continue. And I was just afraid at first. I'm, like I said, I'm just a dentist and I'm entering this world of publishing books. I am looking at other examples. And the first question I asked myself, okay, my pastor asked me to write this book for him. Will it stop there? Will there ever be anyone else? Um, and not long after, people began to message me and they were like, oh, I saw you wrote this book with Apostle Shemiel Gesser, that's my pastor, and I want to bring out my book as well. And people from a lot of places around the world, different ages, and they were like, I have this story as well, but I don't know how to bring it out. So that's when I understood that there is enough room for my business. There's enough room for this business to grow. Like I said, I believe everybody has a story. It's just very hard to bring it out. And unfortunately, a lot of people, yeah, they die with a powerful story in mind.
That's good. Your dentist career. I see your teeth bright and white. People were like, how'd she get her teeth white like that?
No, no, a lot of people say that now. This is just pure genetics. I'm sorry, I don't have anything else to say. It's just pure genetics. But I try my best to keep them white as I can.
How long you been a dentist?
Well, I am almost done with my last year for my master's degree. In the Netherlands, this study is 6 years. So you have 3 years for your bachelor's and 3 years for your master's degree. And I am in my last year. And of course, because of the whole COVID thing, it kind of got delayed. But I'm back on track again, and I hope to finish before this year ends.
So once you finish fully, you will be like, where what will you do after you finish your master's?
So what I plan on doing is going into practice, becoming a dentist, but also really pushing my company. I really want it to become something. I don't want it to be a hobby. I don't want it to be something I do on the side or something I did as a student. I really want it to become something. So as I see it, as of now, I think it will be kind of a 50-50 thing, where perhaps a few days in the week I will just be a regular dentist, and on the other days I'll just really invest in my company and really start building a publishing house.
So how you said a lot of people start messaging you.
Yeah.
How many would you say message you? Estimate.
That's a very good question. Let me see. I think monthly, I would say at least 3 to 4 people message me, and that might not sound as a lot, as a big number, but promoting or bringing out a book is quite a big project. It can take weeks, months. I know a lot of people who even take a full year to bring out just one book. And this past year, I've brought out 5. The sixth one is coming, with people I've worked with. So I've really worked very, very hard to kind of, add some speed to it. And I think that is why a lot of people message me, um, because I try to do it quick and well.
Yeah, my book coming out soon. My own publisher. Well, basically, she everything. She my editor, my publisher, and all. So,
Really? Yeah, yeah. No, that's great. I believe everyone has a story. I really do believe everyone has a story. And like I said, it's a shame that, a lot of story they just end up on Facebook, or half written somewhere in your notes in your phone, or just never being told to anyone, and it's a shame.
well, it take the right kind of people to be able to make things happen like that.
Definitely, definitely.
So your prices. What do you like charge people?
That's a very good question. I'll just say it in euros. What I have experienced until now is that I have basically 3 categories of publishing books. I don't only help people publish a book. Anything that needs to be written down, I can help you with. Like I said, it can be either a blog, it can be a manuscript for your book, it can be website content. When you visit someone's website, it needs to be text to be read. Um, but when it comes mainly to publishing books, I have experienced um, a lot of projects that I can divide into 3 groups. And the first one is someone who has their story already written down. The format is ready. The flow of the book, as I say it, from A to Z is already done. All they want from me is to check it, to edit it where it needs to be edited, and to format it into a book size. And for something like that, I would charge you like €1,000 or just below it. And the second group is someone who needs more help. They have a story in mind. They have some text written down here and there, but the flow of the book isn't there. It misses a lot of pieces. It's misshaped. There is no A to Z, and I have to help them bring that into shape. And as you can hear, that's more work than the first one. that I've just mentioned. And something like that would be around 2,000 euros to 2,500. And then you have the third group, which are people who have a story in their mind and nothing is written down. They don't have any idea of what kind of book format they want, what kind of shape. Is it going to be a story? Is it going to be a biography? They're like, a blank canvas, to say it like that. And then I have to help them and guide them in everything, which I love to do. But as you can hear, it's a lot of work as well. And something like that, what I have done in the past is I have interviews with you and I record every conversation that I have with you as well. And I just type everything down. And when I get home, I will just listen to the recordings again. And from that, I create a story and fill in, extra text where it needs to be filled in. And so that category would cost around 3,500 euros. So the first one would cost around 1,000 euros. Everything is like ready. All you're asking from me is just publishing your book, making it readable for you and everyone out there. The second category is me guiding you a bit more, trying to shape your story into it, making sense to everyone. And the third category is just helping someone from A to Z, basically.
Well, that's not bad.
Okay, that's good to hear.
I know, because
um,
I had wrote my book. I wrote most of it in 2014 and throughout 2018. Then I left it alone. So, and I say about the beginning of 2020, I met my publisher, and she she went over it. She told me that we needed to fill in some more blanks in the story, and like basically what you were saying, like your part with the second one. So, and she filled it. We filled it in together, and we went over it cause like over and over until we got it where it was making sense and all that. So
mhm,
I know it's a process.
it is. Yeah, it really is a process. Yeah. And I think it's fun that you're saying that. It's really a process. And um, what I have seen is that a lot of people underestimate that fact. They just have a book in mind and they're like, I just want to bring out my story. When can it be done? Can it be done in a month? And I'm just like, a month? Okay. That's possible. Of course, everything is possible. But people really need to understand that it's a process. It would be a shame to do everything very fast and your story losing its power, the weight that it carries. So it really is a process. As you have said, you have to go over it again and again. At times you have to sleep a few nights and then read it again and again and again until it's perfect. And is your book done now?
We um she I had the I know when I get a notification from Amazon to
Uh,
it's basically for her to allow her to access my account so
yeah,
she can publish it on Kindle and things like that.
exactly. Yes, yes. I also use Amazon to publish people's book, and of course, you can just order them, and the people I've worked with in the Netherlands, they just sell them here as well. But Amazon is indeed the most known, online publisher for everyone to access any book they like.
In 5 years, where do you see like, yourself and your business going?
That's a very good question. In 5 years' time, I would definitely would like to see my company, Escribo. I want it to be. I want to have my own building. I already see the sign, the logo of Escribo on the building. I'm being very serious, and This might sound weird, but I don't want to be that workaholic anymore, sitting behind a computer every day with a lot of stress. I just really want to expand to such a level that I can have a team around me and we can create stories on a higher level, with a faster speed than I do now. And I definitely wouldn't want to forget, dentistry. I've gone to school for it 6 years, and I would definitely also want to have a dental practice. So it would be a mix of, what I have gone to school for, which is dentistry, but at the same time doing what I love, which is helping people bring out their stories. So that is what I'm aiming for.
Your business, would you want your family to be a part of it?
That's a good question. Um, I think, yeah. I don't have, family members where if something would be wrong, I couldn't tell them. I think they are very understanding. Um, and my little sister, who is like 80 years old, she's very smart as well. So I would definitely bring them into the company if they wanted to. I don't think they will. I think they would get tired of reading all the books. But if they wanted to, then I think it would be a good idea.
So tell us your story, since you said you say everyone has a story. What's your
That's a
story?
very good question. That's a very good question. Well, I think, where should I start? Like I said, I am 24 years old. Um, Let me see. I have always been kind of the odd bird, in class, in friendships, in a lot of things. And at times I would think, is it just me? Am I the weird one? Am I the reason, uh, um, where why friendships are kind of awkward? And it just never made any sense to me. And it's not that I am antisocial or anything like that. I just really felt comfortable being alone, if that makes any sense. And of course, when you go to school, you have those days that you can be with a lot of people. And when you come home, you still feel so lonely, or even with people, you still feel lonely. And I really had that. And there just came a point where I was like, there has to be more to life than going to school, coming back, going to school, coming back, feeling lonely, doing the same thing over and over and over again. So I've always gone to church. As long as I can remember, I've gone to church. And church was always basically a normal thing. I didn't really think about, the Bible and everything. It was just Sunday, we're going to church, and that's it. It was just a routine. And then there came this point where I just really felt lonely and felt empty, and I just really needed help. And I started uh, uh, um, to kind of find out what this God can mean for me, to say it like that. What can he mean for me? Because we're going to church every Sunday. There has to be help from this God. And so I started to pray. I started to listen to preachings online. And slowly and surely, I really got to know God. And that's when I had the aha moment. That's when I had peace being alone. That's when I had peace when I didn't get invited to group activities. I wasn't invited to come along. I had peace either way. And when I experienced that, I really had peace of mind and peace of heart. And life is different when you have peace. It sounds very cliche what I'm saying, but
I understand.
um, life is different when you have peace. Everything happens in its own time, and it just feels right. You go to bed with a great feeling and you wake up with a great feeling, and your happiness doesn't depend on other people. I think that's the biggest stumbling block a lot of people make in life. They let their happiness or their joy depend on other people, and when you do that, you can really destroy your inner peace. So that is a summary of my big story. Like, I really found myself, and I really found my inner peace, and I'm so grateful that I found it through God, through Jesus.
So have you written a book about your
My,
story?
no, not yet. That's a funny question. I have it still. Everything is still up in here. Um, I really haven't had the time to write it down because I'm so busy with everyone else their book and also my studies. But I definitely am going to write a book. A lot of people have been asking me, and at times I get nervous because I'm wondering, will anyone buy my book? Will they read my story? Writing a book for someone is way easier than writing your own book. So, but I will definitely do that. I would definitely do that. And I hope it can mean something to anyone.
Just to me, I think we hesitate to write our own book because we making ourselves vulnerable to the world. Because once it's published and people start buying it, it's out there.
Yeah, that is true. It's nerve wracking. It's really nerve wracking, especially when it comes to sensitive stuff. It's a big step to write on paper what you have experienced, and it's a whole nother thing when someone is opening your story up and reading it, and then perhaps asking you about it. But I think it's a big part of deliverance as well. Deliverance from shame that you may have, deliverance from hurt or anything that you have experienced. The moment you can tell another person about what you have gone through, about what you have experienced, that is, I believe, the biggest step you can take in setting yourself free and putting, the past behind you.
Yeah, it'd be a whole emotional roller coaster
Yes.
up and down.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think everybody should bring out a story. Not because, I'm a publishing house, I'm just saying in general, everybody should bring out their story. I think, especially in this world and this era where everything is about social media and portraying yourself a certain way, the reality of life is being kind of pushed away. Um, but it's real. People go through real issues, real problems, and who are we trying to fool? Be real with yourself, be real with other people, and by you speaking up, by you telling, your story, you really help another person, even if it's just one person. That's more than enough.
Yeah.
Mm.
So when you had started your business, what did your parents say to you?
Um, the first book I wrote, as I said, was with my pastor, and they were just like, "Oh, okay, that's fine." Okay, she just wrote a book with the pastor. They didn't really think anything of it. They were like, "She's a student; she knows how to write," you know. But when the second book came out, they were amazed, like, "Okay, this is really becoming a thing." And the moment I started to speak with a graphic designer about my logo and creating my Facebook page and really promoting my business online, that's when they saw that this can really be a thing. And whenever I am in my room, they're always like, "Are you writing another book again? What is it this time?" So I think, like any other person, at the beginning you're like, "This is nice, this is cute," but slowly and surely you see how big it is becoming, and I'm just happy that they support me fully.
For anyone who wanting to start a business, what advice do you have for them?
Um, I would say from my own experience, this might sound cliche again, but don't try to limit yourself. As I have said, I am a dentist. Who in the world would have thought that a dentist would publish um, books with people? And it all started very simple. Someone asked me, "Hey, can you help me bring out my book?" And the person had already seen that I was capable of helping them. And I even said at the beginning, "No, I'm not sure. I'm just a dentist. I can only do this and this and this." And the person was like, "No, no, no. I think you can do it." And what I'm trying to say is that the other person had more faith in me than I had in myself. And I think that's where people miss their opportunity. That is where people miss their business opportunity, because they think that this certain part of business they want to start up is only meant for people who have gone to school for it, who have experience with this. And that's totally not the case. Not at all. Not at all. So that is what I'm trying to say with don't limit yourself. It might not make sense at the beginning, but in the end, you'll see, aha, I had it in me after all. So that is definitely what I would say, even though it doesn't make sense at all. You know, if you feel the passion for it, if there is an opportunity to do it, just go for it. Just go, and you'll see where you'll end.
The comfort zone. Yeah. We gotta step out our comfort zone to succeed.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. Yes. No, I think a comfort zone can be very dangerous for your creativity. You really have to step out of it. You really have to removing saying no, very easily, and just be open for everything, even if it doesn't make any sense. Everything makes sense in the end, and if it doesn't, fair enough. At least you can close that chapter, but never withhold yourself from something that doesn't make any sense in the beginning.
So if people wanted to find you, can you tell them where they can find you at?
Yes. So I'm working on my website, which is ascribo.nl. At the moment, anyone who would like to contact me can do so on Facebook. My Facebook page is Ascribo, which spells ASCRIBO. Or you can just send an email to me, which is info at ascribo.nl, and I will reply to you in a day time.
That's good. So you on? Are you on Instagram or no?
Yes, I am. Yes. So my page on Instagram is the same as well, ascribo.nl, and my Facebook and Instagram are connected. So whatever you see on Instagram, you'll see on Facebook as well. And if you really want to contact me for a quick response, just email me at info@ascribo.nl.
Well, we thank you for coming doing the interview with us, and we hope to see some more of your books that you help people write and publish.
Yes. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. And I can wait to see your book as well. and
Yeah.
the many more books you're going to write. Um, yeah. No, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Uh,
for
and I hope to speaking to you again.
you will.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Thank you. You too. Bye.